Right, so welcome back to Venture 82. If you watched the last video last week, we're still the same day here because I try and do more than one video in a day so I can make sure I can keep up with you guys and to try and counteract the down days. I'm currently looking at a very pretty Gorey castle. See, that's just stunning, isn't it? These things about Jersey that I will miss when I'm not here. Anyway, so what we're doing today is we're working our way down the pier to literally the end of the line. So you're not just going to stop at where the station used to be, which is now where you get the bus. We're actually going to go down the pier because there was a section of railway line that went down the actual pier itself. So we're going to have a look down there, see if there's any remnants. Probably not, but at least I can show you where it used to go. But because the same day as we did the Gorey Village video, we now are in need of food. So Erica has a very strange bacon and mushroom roll.
It's delicious.
It's not as weird as Lydia's. It's not as weird as Lydia's cheese, chips and gravy though. I have a gourmet, apparently, fish finger roll. Look at that. Well, I have to say, why do they put tomatoes in my sandwiches and burgers? Why do they do that?
I'll have it.
Yeah, I bet you will. In case you can't hear Erica, she just said she'll have it. It's not a surprise. But anyway, I'm going to eat this, drink my tea. Erica's going to eat a strange roll and drink her latte. But yeah, the cafe is an old tram, which is awesome. Anyway, I'll see you down the line. Bye. Right, so we're off to the final station on the line, Gorey Pier. It's technically two stations. This station was never meant to be, not really, not in the grand scheme of things. The main reason the station was moved along, I mean, they did have ambition when they built this line to go as far as St Catherine's, but never got that far. But so the building of this line was always intent to reach here at some point, but what sped up the process was just over here. You can see the harbour, and in the late 1800s a ferry service started going from here to Carteret, and passengers weren't too happy when they got off the boat over there and then had to walk half a mile down here to get to Gorey Village Station. So JER, being very much a railway of the people, agreed to build a line extension that went up to Gorey Pier. So with that in mind, what we're looking at then, so this inner wall that now stops here used to originally go all the way along here. So where you see this, what looks like a little step wall now, that's the original inner wall. It would have all looked like that one. And then this side would have been your walkway for people to walk, and then this side, where you now have a car park, and if I turn it around, you now have the gardens, that was the track bed. And that's what we're going to follow today, and then we're going to see what we can find, any train remnants or clues to the railways being here. If there's any chance of finding anything, I'd imagine it would be along here. I know that if you were to dig up the soil, they literally put it just straight on top of the actual track ballast. So if you were to actually dig up the ground, which I'm pretty sure, I'm not sure if it's Grooville, St Martin's I'm in now, I think it's St Martin's. I'm not sure they thank you for, so I wouldn't do that. But I think if you did, you'd find track ballast. You can see here how they've changed the top of the wall. That's a later addition. The original wall was only actually where the granite ends. You can see here how they've made like little entrances. So these would have been original. So you did have little crossings where you could cross the track and then get to the walk section. I'm not sure how they would demand those, where you just had to time it to when the train wasn't coming, but those were always there. Now anybody who lived here throughout the 80s and the 70s will remember that where we're coming to here, where you can see the land's kind of inset here, you can see they've supported it with ballast and things. You've got the one white house. I'm sure Eric will remember this, but where these houses sat in now was a drive-in barbecue. And you had like a big horse and cart thing on the outside with drive-in barbecue written on it, and you used to go in there and they used to like all like the, well, you'd imagine like a drive-in barbecue in the United States would have sold.
And you could sit in the horse and cart to eat.
Yeah, you could sit in the horse and cart. That was quite cool, wasn't it? Yeah. Because my mum used to take me, I didn't go out with my mum very much as a child. We won't get into that, it was very complicated. But on the odd occasion we went to Gorey Castle, which she did take me a few times to the castle. She used to walk from the castle down to here. Yeah, it was one of those times where, because I'd walked around the castle so much and I was quite small, quite often was the case I walked about halfway from the castle to here, and the rest of the time I was normally piggybacking on Hayley's back, my elder sister. But look at this. This is reminiscent of the Jersey oyster fishing. This is one of the things that, especially in its later years, see 1865, the railway helped with, because it used to bring fish into town, which would then get dropped off at the Green Street depot station. If you haven't seen the Green Street station video, that's right near the beginning. Go back and watch it. It's I'm very proud of that video. It took an awful lot of research to get that one right. Yeah, if you go back and look at that, they used to unload all their stuff there, and then it would go down into town on trucks or whatever it might be and get distributed about. One thing I would say about coming down a train on here, because bearing in mind you're just here, so they're not that far or further away from the water where we are. That's a stunning view from a steam train. And one thing I have noticed as well is JER, as we come to the end of the line, didn't make the mistake that the JR&T did. They didn't put their stations too close together, that it slowed their train down to the point there was no point in getting it. They didn't make that mistake. They listened to their passengers. They did what was necessary, both business-wise and passenger-wise, to keep their railway running. And it was the underhanded tactics of the JR&T that killed the JER off, because the JER were quite happy to coexist, even join up their line, which was where the T came from in JR&T, with the tram to the Western Railway, and then both coexist and be as one. And the JR&T had other ideas, and they started running bus services down here more frequent than the train on purpose to bankrupt them. I'm sure there's many businesses that would do that to each other now as well. I don't understand business. There's a lot of backstabbing. I don't get it. What I do like is this bit here, as Eric has just found, allows you to actually walk along where the track would have been, literally. So this is the level the track bed would have been on. So you can see this is the level it is now. You can see here it's quite substantial. It's about the same level as the footpath basically. And this is, you can see here the foundation of the wall. That's quite cool. And so your railway would have gone along here. Obviously not exactly along here, because this has been made as like a little walk path, but that's quite nice. This is all made from rock, from, I believe, the flower bed. I don't know if these look like they're just normal treated wood. They don't look like they're anything railway related. And then this, see, it's all been added. Now this I remember this much. This bit here, that's there, because this square section here in the 80s was a pond. They had a pond section there with little goldfish in it. As far as I remember, someone told me they filled it in because St Martin's got bored of the seagulls eating the goldfish. I wanted to just put a net on top, but yeah, they got bored of them eating the goldfish, so they got away with, they filled it in. That's why you got a little breather pipe there. But this is all a very nice garden now. But once upon a time it was a railway. So the railway terminated just over there in front of the slipway, where you can see the little hut with the green roof. So that's where we're going to go down to now. So unless I find something substantial to do with the railway, I'll see you up at the other end. I'm not 100% certain if this is the exact same one, but it's almost identical to the anchor they used to have at the original St Clement's School, which is now St Christopher's School. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with Jersey's parishes, but each parish has its own crest. So like, for instance, the little gates on St Lawrence is meant to be the gates to heaven. And because St Peter's is next to St Lawrence, the little keys that cross each other are meant to be the keys to the gates to heaven. And so they all have different stories behind them. St Clement's one is an anchor. And the reason it's an anchor is because St Clement was supposedly tied to an anchor, and then the anchor was then lowered into the sea, and he was drowned on the anchor at sea by pirates because he refused to renounce his faith in God. And that's what that is supposed to represent. So there you go, bonus piece of history. Nothing to do with the railway, but it's definitely to do with Jersey. Right, so we're on the site of the station. The station would have been all the way along here, up to where the little kind of bus station stop shelter thing is, with the green roof. So you would have had it all here. You can see now it's now car park. All this would have been the station. It had a 300 foot what do you call it, platform on the upside of the line, and the trains would stop just short of the buffers, which would allow the train then to go off onto a run round loop to turn it around up in the corner here, where it would be able to go up and round, and then it would come back round and down and then reconnect on the other side of the train. So the train left going forwards. It would then go from here to the Gorey village station, where it would then fill up with water and then take everybody back to town. And it did that on a half-hourly service, and they also offered cheap fares for people who were coming in off the ferry. The buildings here were different to all the others, which is a shame that they're gone. They were much bigger, much larger, and though not as ornate, but as you can see, there's no trace of them left whatsoever. They were very quick to demolish those. The railway company, JER, changed the name of it in 1927. So for the last 2 years, this station was actually known as Montal Guy, not Gorey Pier. Kind of. What happened was they part changed the name. So if you looked on the timetable in 1927, it said Montal Guy. When you bought the train ticket, it said Montal Guy / Gorey Pier. So it was both and one at the same time. I don't know either. But this isn't the end of the line. The railway went further than that. The railway went down here. It went all the way around. And it went down onto the pier. The Germans made very good use of that. So let's go see if there's any of that bit left. But if anybody who thinks that this turning loop thing here was made for the buses, it wasn't. This loop, this whole area was cleared out to make the turning loop for the train. So the first turning loop here was not a road, it was the train track. Let's go have a look at the pier. Right, another interesting thing I found is these. Now these, again, if you grew up here during like the heavy tourist period, 60s, 70s, 80s, you remember probably seeing these somewhere along the coastline, whether you were visiting, whether you lived here. The idea is you want to put coins in them and they're donated, as you can see by the sign here, to Shipwrecked Mariners Society. But these are actually retrieved Second World War mines that were pulled out of the harbours after the war. They gutted the insides obviously and removed the explosives, and then they turned them into these to help the shipwrecked mariners. Most of them disappeared when they built the waterfront, because that's where a lot of them were, and there used to be one which is now being removed as well at Half Day Par. So I don't know what happened to all of these, but that's a piece of history right there, and let's try and do some good. I'm diverting a lot around here, but there's a lot of bits and pieces that I appreciate around this place, and some of them are reminiscing. This one's one of them. When I was a kid, this is the one souvenir shop I remember visiting relatively regularly, because almost every time we went to the castle, my mum would bring me here for ice cream. But I've always, as I've gotten older, appreciated like the natural kind of beauty of it, because it's still very, very Victorian and Georgian. It's called Fountain Court. The souvenir shop has never changed, right? And it's always had the bits and pieces out here. This would have been filled when I was a kid with inflatables and stuff for kids to go play on the beach and sell to the tourists. But for me, the main thing always about this place was this, which is now turned off. When I was a kid, this used to always be on. It had goldfish in it. It was one of my favourite things to do. I didn't care if I was getting ice cream out there or not. I cared about looking at the fish. It's one of the most stunning places, and it's so much still encapsulating the time it was built. It's stunning. The amount of stories these walls could tell would be interesting. Anyway, let's go have a look at this pier. As stunning as it is though, you wouldn't want to be locked behind there. Right, so as we're walking down towards the pier, I should point out that this section here that went round to the pier and it actually went down the actual pier itself was mainly used by the Germans. It wasn't really here long enough to have any significant kind of thing for the JER. So the people who would get off here, they'd walk around and they'd go to the main station over there where the green roof building is, and that's what they'd do. It came round to here though. There's another extension where the Germans built with their narrow gauge, and this seems like the best time as any to do it. And the reason that the Germans had a train that went down here is because it's still a very valid port. So as you can see, and your train went down here. Now we've got a sign here telling us we're not allowed to go down there because the crane's in use, and you can see here what they're up to. See, I can get you a shot of the crane actually, because that'd be quite cool. Let's see what we can do. I've not got the steadiest hand, but hopefully you can see there they're using it. And it looks like they're going to lift that boat out of the water with it, and then that's what this tractor trailer setup here is going to be used to then tow off. But what I might be able to do is take the upper path up here and show you Gorey Castle. By the way, you get an interesting view of Gorey Castle from here, so I shall also show you that. I do love these little mini stairs. I know health and safety would say they're a menace, but I can't help but love them. So you have another entrance here, which most people don't know about, into Gorey Castle, with a little lookout point and stuff here. And if we come out onto here, you can see how this old drainage area there. And then this is all German. They added bits. This would have been a gun post for the Germans, and then down here you have another little cubby hole. I don't know if that looks like it goes inside. Is that a doorway? Yeah. Oh, Eric has found something. So this is the JER. We've also done some doing some German history. So these would have been gun points. You can see the mounting brackets. See, there's one there. It's hidden under the concrete. And then that would have been the storage, I'm guessing, for the shells for that, which means that what we saw there probably was a doorway, and it does actually go underneath here, which is quite cool. So we found something new about the Germans. This, in the old days, as far as I'm aware, was a gunpowder store. They stored it well away from the castle, so if the gunpowder ever went off, it didn't damage the castle. But someone told me it was turned into a outdoor toilet. It might well just be somebody's shed now or something, I don't know. But I only get to explore Gorey Pier quite like this. You've got a good shot of the crane from here, see? See if we can get on the upper wall, and we'll walk along the upper wall and have a look and see what we can see. But let me get down from here first. Right, so Eric is not sure he's going to come with us. You can see, I can kind of see her reasoning why. That's literally our pathway. There is no rail. And there's nothing to stop us falling off. And there's quite a few staircases. So we'll see how we get on. But we'll see if we can get to the end of the pier. I'll get a bit further down here first, because it is quite narrow. And if we're allowed, I'll film just when I get up to the other end. Right, so that is as far as the railway went, which is here. So if you look, the pier goes down here. There's like a fuel station and things here. This was all the official office where people came in when they used to have the ferries here, which is no longer the case. But the railway ended along here. You can see that crane a bit closer up now, and you can see a really good view of the Gorey Castle from here. If any of you have never visited Jersey, I would definitely suggest visiting the island. Living here is a struggle, which is why we're leaving. It's really expensive. And I love the island dearly, but I do find it very, very difficult to afford to live here. Which is a contributing factor to why we're leaving. But I don't have a down on the island at all. It's just, it's more of a visiting place now than a living place unless you're really wealthy. That's just the way the state's made it. That's not the island's fault. But alas, that's the situation we're now in. And that, look at that crane, it's so cool. I'll just give you a close up in the water, look at this. Look at that, the boat's called Odd Job, or it's 007. So you got a 10-ton crane there, look at that. That's awesome. I wonder what they're picking up. Oh well, I'm sure we'll find out at some point. Right, there's also a bit of a platoon here as well, which they've hauled out the water, which they're doing some work on. But anyway, that, like I say, is the end of the JER. It was a bit of an all sorts video, this one, wasn't it? We were following the end of the railway along here, and then we had a look. You got a little bit of a history lesson into some of the crests of the parishes, and we had a look at the Second World War mine, and we found that German area there at the gunpoint. So we've had a bit of everything. We've been through like all the eras here. We've done like Second World War, we've done trains, we've done shipwrecks, saints being drowned by pirates. We've covered a whole lot here. So I think we've covered pretty much everything. So not too difficult to find somewhere pretty. But let's find one last place to show you, and then we'll say our goodbyes for this one, I believe. Right, so that's it for this one. I'm not quite sure where we're going next. There's the Oaklands Hotel, I want to do that. I've been doing a lot of research on the Beast of Jersey, I want to do one on that. I don't know whether I'm going to get that one done in time or not, but I might get that one out before Christmas. I want to show you do another Christmas lights one in the evening, because last year's one didn't go quite as planned. And I don't know, I think I'm just going to take the next few videos and see where they take me. Hopefully you guys will enjoy them. I do try and do things that are interesting to everybody, not just me. You can hear the rustling of a little lizard or newt or something on the side of the
that's so cool.
on the side of the rock there, which is quite cool. We do get little lizards and newts. So yeah, I hope you guys have had fun. It's been really awesome. Which is what I can say for the tripod that's now broken, so I'm going to have to replace out whatever video I do next. But for me, Erica is behind the camera and absolutely fascinated by the newt that you can see on the rock face over there. And no doubt, if she can, she'll get you some B-roll of that as an outro. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.